So let's dive right into it, Naila. What, in terms of, we talked about a lot of good things, but what are some of the headaches that you're seeing in terms of AI adoption? And I see Alan smiling because I know he's dealt a lot with this. So Alan, I'll let you answer this after, but I'd like to start with you around some of the challenges and headaches that you're seeing right now.
Okay, thank you very much for inviting me on this panel. A bit of my background, just so that it sets the context. I've been in the NHS for 34 years. My subspecialty is gynecology and in particular gynae cancer. So we work very closely, especially in cancer, with patients and families. And in the UK, there is a special pathway for patients that are suspected of cancer, which used to be called as the 2-week pathway. It is actually in legislation that we have to see patients, all NHS hospitals. Once the patient is referred on this pathway, we have to see patients within 2 weeks and have to treat the patient within 28 days, have a diagnosis within 28 days, and have the first treatment done within 63 days, which seems to be a long time period, but it includes all the things that are included. And failure to abide by these timelines, the trust has to pay a big breach fee, but that apart, the human cost of the patient suffering, the weight and the anxiety of the family is, you can't put money on that. Hence, the biggest challenges that we have are in two directions. One is the clinical side, and the other is the operational side. Now, in clinical side, AI has been working great strengths in robotics. We have augmented reality, because remember, AI is only one type of disruptive technology. There are many others which are going forward. So the main challenge that I think AI, or the low-hanging fruit that is there right now, if you're talking about NHS, it is how can we help the operational side of things. And number one, the patient journey starts, we also track the patient journey, and it's known as the patient is on the pathway. So whatever the problem is, there is a pathway for that. For example, if someone's got abdominal pain, they will be on the surgical pathway for that. We have patients who are suspected of gynae cancer, they get on the pathway for that. So triage, that is dependent on human effort. It can be, AI can help that. If the point that Reena was saying, that what people dread is the trust element. There is a solution for that. I'm giving away all the answers. I should be part of the solution, whichever company brings forth. But the solution for that is that the evidence that is put behind, what is AI? AI actually will take the experiences, the answers from a database, right? There are algorithms that are made from connecting the data sets to give you a conclusive answer, right? So the data sets that we feed in, if they are evidence-based, you restrict your AI solution that, okay, you are only to seek the answers from this database which we trust. So you can put in all the Royal College of Gynecology or the peer-reviewed journals that have got those answers. And therefore, that machine will only pull out evidence-based. In medicine, there are 4 things that are important: how we make decisions. And if AI can help us make those decisions, you have an answer. Evidence-based, efficient, fit to practice, up to date, right? And I think AI has a greater potential of being all that, but you remember, humans are behind it. There's no such thing as AI on its own. There is an expert group that is behind, that feeds what this AI is going to deliver. So these are the things where your operational issues can be sorted by AI.
Right, makes sense. And then, Alan, I know from an implementation standpoint, can you talk a little about what Bayer is doing from an AI standpoint and how you've seen implementation either be good or bad from that matter?
Thanks, Dan. as an intro as well, my name's Alan Howe. I work for Bayer. Bayer is a multinational company wherein I give you some in crop science, consumer health, and pharma. I'm in the pharma division. In consumer health, for those who are based in the UK, would know products like Berocca, Rennie, Canesten, etc. These are Bayer products. From the US, Bayer aspirin, as you would know. So we in Bayer, and me as a digital lead, as part of the team, we've been looking at how can we build efficiencies using generative AI. So soon after ChatGPT came out, December 2022, we were looking at how can we build efficiencies on how we work and how to use AI. We worked together with Microsoft and built a platform in Azure where we were looking at having different models coming in, but having large sources of data. So the data that we have in clinical trials, data that we have internally, all our SharePoints, market research data, etc. So we have access to those. So what we did, we have different models in it. So as Reno was mentioned, we have ChatGPT in it, we have Gemini, we've got Claude, we've got Mistral. We can use the different models to look at the different results in regards to it. And we have amazing, amazing results from it. So we said, okay, what we're doing in here, how can we do something for the clinicians? How can they, for some of the points that Naila was making in regards to the skepticism that goes into it. And the first question you asked, Dan, was, what is the barriers for them to adopt it? Some of you might have seen the cartoon of two prehistoric men pushing a wheelbarrow with square wheels. And someone comes to them with a circular wheel and says, this will help you out. No, we're too busy. I don't have the time, I'm too busy, I won't look at it. This is exactly the case. The clinicians are being too busy, they have workloads going on. So a lot of them are not seeing this and not being able to adopt it or even start experimenting with it. But that's a generalization, but there's a lot of those. So what we've decided to do at Bayer is look at the platform we've built internally, working with Microsoft, how can we work with clinicians to build something that is based on PubMed, all the publications that you can have, and peer-reviewed publications, a lot of the data which would be reliable for these clinicians to look at it so that they can make decisions, whether it's clinical decisions and advice in regards to what they do. So we've put a panel of 25 clinicians across Europe helping us out, working around a sandbox together with Microsoft to be able to put what the needs are coming from those clinicians to try and put a product out there together with Microsoft to help them out. So just a little bit of what we're doing in regards to trying to get that bridge into the usage in regards to that. Just a quick other comment. I have a full faith that this is going to happen. The clinicians will be using it. This generation of new doctors that we have now, digital natives, they are not doing anything without AI, Gen AI tools. And this is just going to take up. So I think I have full faith this is going to happen. We need to get the technology to be reliable. We need to get the databases out there. But yeah.
Makes sense. I think everybody's seen that cartoon as well with the square wheel in the round. Yeah. Do you have something to add? Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to add that this is the Gen Z. I teach the medical students at Imperial as well. And we need to prepare for the Gen Alpha, who are the next generation. I mean, the Gen Z are the ones who are born in digital. I'm actually a baby bloomer, yeah, which is a long time ago, 60s. So, but somehow I stumbled on and managed to kind of, learn these disruptive technologies because I could see the potential. And I have to say, America is way ahead from us. It took a tragedy like COVID, unfortunately, to bring a change in mindsets. Things that we were actually proposing to the commissioners of doing telehealth for years, but we were met with inertia. After COVID, within 24 hours, telehealth was approved. So things are a bit slow, but now that the momentum is going, I see that within the NHS, there are some trusts that are really the early adopters. So there's hope.
There's hope. I like that. That's good. So, the data was showing that clinicians trust more of the research and admin, as you alluded to as well, but not diagnosis. Like, and why do you think that is? And why do you think one, I guess, do you agree with that boundary? And is there a way to overcome it? I'd love to hear from both of you on that standpoint.
Fear of the unknown. And you know the Johari's window, which is you have known knowns, unknown knowns, known unknowns, and the worst are the unknown unknowns. So that is the window that most of our clinicians, unfortunately, are falling in. And if I would say, if anyone is really interested, or if the Department of Health is really interested in bringing we claim that we are the world-class, we deliver world-class healthcare, which is true because we have pockets like Great Ormond Street, we have Russell Square, we have Brompton for heart and health. So there are areas of excellence, but to have a unified kind of standard, the first thing should be clinician engagement. That will be the first thing, because if you give a Ferrari to someone who doesn't even know how it works or where the remote, how it works, basically, I don't even know what it's called. So that is what is going to happen, right?
What do you think about that? Just around the clinicians are trusting more of the research and admin side as opposed to diagnosis.
So all of you have, I hope all of you have tried Gen AI, the different tools, ChatGPT, Copilot, etc. There's a phenomenon called hallucination, where these tools go out and start creating their own answers, right? And this was at the beginning, I would say, but now it's getting so much better. The tools are getting very much, the level of hallucination has gone down quite significantly. So these are some of the stuff that I hear. Oh, it hallucinates. It's not accurate. It's not getting to what it is. These were some of the challenges. But now with the technology coming in and the tools being trained on scientific data, being trained on many things, it's difficult for them to actually say these things. We were looking at some of the data over the last couple of years. So in the US, there's the US medical USMLE, which is the exam that they take to get for medical school. When they started to look at Gen AI, it started, I think the pass mark is 60. And I think, Pharma, which is a Google tool that was trained in trying to pass this exam, the first version was at 62%. Second version came out, I think, a year after. It was around 89. It was quite high. I think it's 97, 98 now, right? So those tools are getting much better in regards to what it is. The other part, which usually the doctors might say, the other part about those tools is the human aspects, the emotional quotient, the EQ, and these aspects. These tools pass those tests as well. They can actually replicate what human emotion EQ is in regards to sympathy, empathy, etc. At least in the writing, at least in regards to what is there. So yes, there are challenges, but I think it's being addressed. And getting those tools trained, and like we are trying to do, get everything on peer-reviewed data, because clinicians will only take decisions based on facts, based on research, based on what the documentation has done. And if we can have those tools being trained on it, and this is where we're going, I think I have big hope of everyone using it soon.
Yeah, that's interesting. But I'd be curious to get your side on your take on the other side, where we're talking about clinicians and the usage of it, but what do patients think? Do you have any idea there around, like, are they trusting it? I see that you do. So what do you think?
There is a trend that I have patients who are like Google clinicians themselves, so they have done all the research. I feel scared that they will quote me some study that has not passed by I haven't seen it, and I will be left, feeling embarrassed. But then there is also this issue that they will, the information that is out there in Google is not context related. One thing that I wanted to say is that medicine is moving towards precision medicine, predictive precision medicine. So that means that every person will have their own treatment profile. We have managed in the NHS, there are some great things that have been done, like the Million Genomics Project, where we've got the genetic workup of many patients by their consent, and now NHS is going to offer 150 blood tests, screening blood tests to everyone for 150 different types of cancers. So this is a real big step. So when this precision medicine comes in, AI will have a bigger role to play, because things that we don't even know about ourselves will be in a, I would say, a digital footprint, which will, I personally feel, everyone should take their own responsibility and carry it on them rather than giving someone else that responsibility. And if people want to use that data, they have the consent of the individuals. Yes, I'm happy for you to use my data. That will be the easiest thing to do.
Right, makes sense. And then, Alan, from your perspective on the patient side?
Yeah, no, we've spoken to some of the clinicians who we work with, and they all mentioned the trend is now. It used to be Dr. Google. They would come in with the insights from Google. Now it's more complex, more detailed. They actually will, as you said, come with the publications. This is the latest publication. And they were like, some of them were like, we were completely challenged. We never heard of that paper. We don't even know the existence of that paper. We don't, and it's like everyone's learning along the way and how to react and how to go with these. But yes, the patients are more informed. What we, as part of the healthcare community, I think we have a duty to get the right information out there. There is a survey that's been done in regards to where Gen Z and the generation are looking for their healthcare questions. TikTok is really high. And how scary is that, right? So, we had, and these were the tools when there used to be, we look at the volume of stuff that's coming in. This is where the results would be. And like in Google, we would have things like, back to your president coming in about somebody drinking bleach, right, at that stage.
Wait, you don't do that? Is that
We don't do this. We don't do it. The NHS doesn't allow this. And now those tools would screen these things. This is nonsense. This can't do it. And really getting to the reality of clinical research and peer-reviewed evidence in regards to what it will do. So patients come in, yes, informed, but also I think the clinicians need to be trained, and that's part of the program that we're doing. How do we train the clinicians? How do they get trust in those systems as well? But also how to react to those, and not just disregard it, but address it, like any other case. But go ahead.
Just one quick comment on that, because it's very relevant to the context. So in training new doctors as well as undergraduate students, there is a workshop that I do, which is called as difficult communication and communication difficulties. So a difficult communication meaning breaking bad news, or how to speak to an angry patient and manage that. And communication difficulties are like if English is not your first language, or you have some difficulty in communicating because of various different health reasons. But now the context of that difficult communication has become how to deal with the technical side from both. From clinicians, you are trying to explain the digital way of making decisions and all that, and the patients are also coming and putting stuff in front of you, which is, like ChatGPT has said this, so you have to explain things. So our scenarios have changed in training doctors how to, engage patients.
Well, that's interesting. I know we have to wrap up here, but I have to ask you one more question. So it's a short question, but the answer might be more difficult. Where are we at in 5 years? Where do you see where things?
UK?
UK or anywhere? I'll open to that.
I think we are going to see much more uptake of AI. I see it more in the operational side of things. And there might be some places within the NHS in UK which will be far ahead. And one of the things is funding. You know, people who have ease of funding and leadership that is ready to invest in that direction will be much more advanced.
Yeah. So speaking of funding, so the government yesterday announced 10 billion into digital for the NHS, which I think will make leaps for the 5 years. I think, first of all, we need to digitalize the pathways, digitalize the data, whatever we have, and make sure that we clean out as much as we can. Okay, yes, AI will do a good job at clearing out, but we still need some manual work that needs to go into it. But then it's also understanding how we can impact the pathway. So the example that Rina was giving about ambient listening, there's a huge program going with the NHS right now where every single GP would have the ambient listening, ambient scribes coming in. So what we can see in 5 years' time, you walk into your GP surgery, you speak, popping up on the screen is the electronic records of that patient, listening to it. The GP will be asked questions, will be asking questions based on that record, asking the question, then actually looking in regards to booking the bloods, booking the next appointments, all done automatically. So the technology is there. It's the implementation. It's actually, as we are in the National Health Service, which is not very national in regards to the service, it's very different from places to places. It's trying to get those there. But in 5 years' time, I think we'll be much, much further ahead in regards to it. I'm completely convinced about that.
That's awesome. Well, thank you both so much. And yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for being here.